Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Emotional Intelligence Podcast. I'm your host, Sandra Thompson, founder of EI Evolution, and I am super excited to take you on this incredible journey. We're going to be exploring the transformative world of emotional intelligence and empathy, guided by some truly remarkable humans and their fantastic four-legged friends. In each episode, we'll dive into inspiring and heartwarming stories about our beloved canine companions. We'll discover the unique and magical bonds we share with our dogs and uncover the profound lessons they teach us about understanding and managing our emotions. From tales of loyalty and love to moments of learning and growth, our furry friends have so much to offer when it comes to enhancing our emotional intelligence. We'll also discuss practical tips and insights on how to cultivate empathy and emotional awareness in our daily lives, inspired by the natural wisdom of our dogs. So sit back and relax, maybe even with your playful pup by your side, and join us for an enriching experience that celebrates the incredible ways dogs help us connect more deeply with ourselves and others. Welcome to the Emotional Intelligence Podcast. My next guest invited me to be on his podcast. Now, this was no ordinary podcast. The podcast is called At the Tap End, and I was so thrilled for the adventure of sitting in an empty bath with a towel on my head, being interviewed by someone who was sat also in a bath with some ducks and I think a shower cap or a towel on his head. It was hilarious. So I am over the moon to be inviting Lee and his dog Daisy onto the Emotional Intelligence podcast. How are you, Lee?
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for the invite, Sandra. Me and Daisy have been really looking forward to this. She's trying to speak and get away from me as we speak. But the at the tap end experience was amazing for me for me to be able to wash myself while talking to you and you were giving intelligent answers. Was an amazing experience. So no, thank you very much for that. And yeah, me and Daisy are really pleased to join you today.
Well, it's an honour and thank you. I just remember that podcast mostly laughing. Some sense came out of me, but mostly I was just laughing my head off. Also, the household were just like, what is she doing in the bathroom talking about emotional intelligence? But hey, every day is an adventure, right? Tell us about you, Lee. Tell us what you do, what you're up to. Let's go with that for starters before we move on to the beautiful Daisy.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. So yeah, my name is Lee Horton, business improvement coach by day. And fundamentally, we are co-founder of a business called Get Knowledge, and fundamentally, we champion people in the improvement equation, whether that's leaders of people or leaders of change. We encourage and support them to deliver successful and sustainable change, and whether that's developing a high-performing team or delivering a transformation. Those are the things we do. Done it. I've been in the world of change since the year 2006, but within Get Knowledge for the last 6 years.
Fabulous. And I remember us having a conversation about some of the approaches that you've taken, some of the clients that you've had. And I remember being hugely inspired by the humanity and the connection that you have with your clients, the way in which you gently nurture, gently challenge, and get these phenomenal results. So credit to you that you're still up and at it, sorting people out, helping businesses get better performance. Really fantastic.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I mean, connection fundamentally is key, isn't it? And I think if I just digress short, I think I might have shared this story with you before. We've spoken about Nativity Play before, haven't we? And the reason why
Yes. Oh my God.
the
Please
connection
tell
is
that
key.
story.
Yeah, so I went on 2 comedy courses, beginner and intermediate. So I'm still learning to be actually funny. And at the start of the first comedy course, the tutor said, "What's the most important thing in comedy?" And we all shouted about like variation of the word jokes. And he went, "No, that's the third most important thing in comedy is your material." He said in comedy, you have a setup and you have a punchline, so you vary your attitude between the setup and the punchline to signpost to the audience when they need to laugh. That's your performance. That's the second most important thing in comedy. And he said the most important thing in comedy is your level of connection with the audience. And typically in the world of change and leadership, people start with their material. That's where they start. But what we encourage is people start with connection. And then when you've built the connection, you can then vary your performance, like comedians do, to the people that are in front of them. And then your material is last, the thing you're doing. And I guess the best way to articulate this is using the nativity play as an example, or any school performance. Because if we say at a school nativity play, the material is probably an abridged version of a story, a real simple story. So the material is ropey at best. Then the performance, you've got snotty-nosed kids forgetting the words, being told what they need to say at the right time. They're stood in the wrong places. And really, in fact, their outfits as well. You can't tell whether the clouds or the sheep. All of these things, right? So the performance, the material's ropey, the performance is dodgy, but at the end of it, and the little kids, they stand up and they do the little bow or the little curtsy. You look round at the audience, and the audience are high-fiving each other, declaring it's the best performance that they have ever seen in their lives. Absolute nonsense. It's the thing that's made the difference is the level of connection that the little people have got with the big people in the audience. So if you lead with connection, then it negates the focus on performance and on material. And that for me really is when you said the word connection, then that story just hit me because I think that's what's fundamentally important about everything that we all do. We need to build stronger and better connection.
Do you know that I remember us having that conversation about nativity, and I remember at the time thinking, that is so true. Now, I have seen godchildren, nephews, friends, kids being the snotty nose, being the one who, like, it's your turn to speak. It's utter chaos, but I'm crying because I'm just like, oh, that's my nephew, and he's just said his words, or he's got his words wrong, or he's just fallen off the stage, or whatever it is. And it is connection because you just, they've been preparing, and then they're delivering, and these words or whatever they're doing, it absolutely is. So I hope those of you who are listening to this, who are watching this, think about nativity plays as the best articulation of connection. And with connection in mind, let's talk now. Let's move on to Daisy, your amazing dog, and who she is, what breed she is, how you got her, all those great stories. Let's hear Daisy's backstory, if you don't mind, Lee.
Perfect. So hopefully Daisy will come and join me at some point. She's just sat on the bed at the minute, but hopefully she will come and join me. So Daisy is 13 years old. She is a Jack Russell cross with a toy poodle. She was the runt of the litter when we got her 13 years ago. And fundamentally, the reason why we got her is because I wanted to delay the missus having kids. So I thought, what better way to do it than to buy and to get a dog that she could love and nurture and care for. And that was going really, really well until she decided to dress the dog. And then I have a little debate in my head, and I didn't know whether my credibility could withstand me walking a dog in socks. And so that's the reason why I've now got children. I've got 2 children because I couldn't have a dog in clothes. So yeah, Daisy, 13 years old, Jack Russell cross with a toy poodle. And the reason why we originally got her was just to delay the child process. But yeah, she's amazing. She's one of the family. She's the first child, and then we've got Jack, who's now 11, and India, who is 9. But yeah, Daisy is the eldest child of the family.
Thank you for that, Lee. I knew that this would happen. I knew that I'd get the fit of the giggles because I always get the fit of the giggles with you. So Daisy being dressed up. Yeah. So I've seen Christmas, Easter, birthday, all sorts of dressing up for dogs. And isn't that interesting that a number of people I know who I also love, and there she is, gorgeous, dress their dogs up. What's wrong with dressing your dog up? Come
I
on,
know
Lee. Let's have it.
they've got their own fur though, haven't they? They don't need it. They've got their own clothes, which is absolutely fine. I think it was more about how I felt walking down round the streets of Chorley with a dog with socks on. I think it was the socks more than anything, if I'm honest.
So tell us a little bit about Daisy's character. You know, we're talking about emotional intelligence and empathy. Let's hear some stories of how she's shown connection or empathy, emotional intelligence in your time with her.
So I think having the dog and having Daisy before the children was amazing to see how I guess how motherly Daisy was of the young children in the house and how protective of them and how much she cared for them. So they'd be asleep in the cot, the crib, or whatever, and Daisy would also find a space near them. And that was probably the the first time I saw her protective nature. I mean, she's a little tiny little thing, so and she's probably more scared of
Yeah.
anything and everybody else than. But she was just so protective and so caring of the little ones growing up. So that's the first thing that I think is the important to call out. I work away doing what I do, and she's been such a companion, a loyal companion, and I guess it's just given um, the family, whilst I'm not here, an additional level of protection as well. Because if there's any noise in the house, the dog will be up and go and investigate, and so that's just another thing. It's just given a level of security and a level of protection for the family in the house when I'm not here. When anybody is ill in the house, that's the bed where you can guarantee that Daisy is in or around that bed of the ill child or ill parents. She's just got a lovely nature about her, and thankfully, I've not chosen a career as a postman because I think um, that's the only uncurring side that she has. And I don't know what it is about those red vans and the red jackets. But yeah, she's so caring and loving towards everybody apart from post people.
Oh, so there's quite a lot in there. So I'm just going to take a few things that you just said, Lee, and I'd like to go a bit deeper if I may. So the first thing then is about her nurturing, her how she is with the children, how kind of maternal she was. So what kind of things was she doing? Was she just kind of like fussing over the children as they were growing up? Was she just checking in to make sure they were all okay? What did that look like?
So she would be around them. She would be like in between you and them. So where she would position herself
Okay.
when they were sleeping. She would like to sleep in and around them as well. So it would just be it'd appear
Yeah.
like it'd just be from a caring perspective, and she was a barrier between anything and them to allow them to grow and to be safe. Yeah,
Right.
that's probably how I would describe it.
Yeah. So it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think that I've seen videos where people, not necessarily the parents, but I don't know, friends or family members might go to pick a child up, and the dog will either kind of snarl or growl a bit because they're just like, no, just leave them as they are. So I've seen that kind of behaviour in some breeds, and it is quite a maternal or a paternal type of protection. I've definitely seen that as children are much younger. Is that what is that? I think is that what you're talking about? I mean, was she a bit growly
Exactly.
if you were kind of like shouting, or well, I know that one dog I shared a house with would kind of like if someone was shouting, but they would kind of like get right ready to pounce, as it were.
Yeah, so it would be as you would approach the baby, the child, then she would then become more active and position herself even more in between you. She wouldn't really growl or bark
Yeah.
to keep away, but you would just know that she had a presence and she was
Mm.
there, and she was a barrier in between. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
lovely to see, but
yeah.
unexpected to see.
Yeah, I think I think I understand that. And then the point around the post person. So, I mean, I sometimes I think, is this just like a bit of a joke? Do they really, some breeds really have a problem with post people? And why is that? Why is it? Is it just that it's the surprise of the noise of something unexpectedly that they like a fright that they associate with that uniform and that van? I wonder what it is.
Yeah, I don't know, but it is. We could have one person walking up the street, and she will just be stood on the windowsill, just watching them, and then you could have a post person
Yeah,
walking up the street, and you would, yeah, she would be so loud and so yappy. It's unbelievable. So
right.
fortunately, the postman has already been today, so we will not be interrupted by the post person mid call today. Sandra, we'll be all right.
Oh, good. And so I have seen post people actually not enter the gate of the house to go to the front door because these dogs have terrorized them. I mean, honestly, it's a real thing, isn't it? You know, beware of the
It is.
dog.
In terms of delivery person, we have an every parcel delivery driver, and Daisy displays completely different behavior with the every driver because so with the every driver I can open the door, Daisy can run out, and the every driver will cuddle Daisy and then give Daisy a treat. Also knows Daisy by name as well, so the every driver has built connection and knows that Daisy lives at number 25 and she'll always have a treat in her pocket. But what she does now is she always gives Daisy a cuddle and then gives her a treat, and this has been ongoing for probably
Wow.
about a year now, and it's exactly the same process of somebody coming to their house to deliver something, but the level of connection that the every
Yeah.
driver's taken notice of Daisy, knows her name,
Yeah.
wanted to get to know her, now brings a treat, and the tail starts wagging and doesn't bark in an aggressive nature.
Totally
So
different. Yeah.
it's
I'm just visualizing a post person with their sack of mail and then a sack of dog and cat treats because they go to so many houses. And that in
yeah.
itself would be an incredible hippocampus, wouldn't it? With all of that memory of all those names of all those pets. Crikey, another thing altogether. Hmm. Interesting. I'll think about that. And the other point I want to just drill a little bit more into is the point about the extra security. So I know that I have found that since Bonnie the dog has passed away, I don't sleep quite as solidly as I did when she was there because, to your point, as soon as they pick up on a little sound, they're barking. So it's like you can rest knowing that if there's anything going on, she was like an alarm system. And I kind of took that for granted when she was alive, but when she wasn't around anymore, I was definitely more aware of it. I mean, that's what you got going on, right? You've got an extra alarm system.
Oh, absolutely. A more aware alarm system than anything else, more sensitive alarm system than anything else, and I think that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whilst I'm sleeping away, I sleep. I mean, I sleep really well no matter where I sleep, if I'm honest. But whilst away, I can. It's just
Mm.
additional confidence that actually, if anything happens, Daisy will wake before anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, what does it mean, kind of generally, to have a dog in your house? What does it mean to own a dog?
It's another family member. Daisy's the eldest child in the house, and that's the that's the thing for me, for us. Daisy is another family member, so she has a birthday like everybody, like us all. She has her own needs, she has her own space, and she's just treated like another family member. She's been with us now, like I said, 13 years. So yeah, it's normal. She's part of the routine.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what it means. It's a family of five, not a family of four.
Yeah, oh, that's amazing. And as far as what you see of dogs and the influence they have on humans, what would you say about our canine friends in society? Any comments on that, Lee?
Yeah, so I think I think there's a lot of loneliness in the world. People feel lonely, but I don't think you feel lonely when you have a dog. Um, and I think it's far
Mm,
easier. They're so loyal as well. They're unquestionably loyal. They don't have good days and bad days. Every day is a good day. The they teach you as well that actually the simplest things you can play with, you can get play from the simplest of, whether it's a stick, whether it's a an old McDonald's Happy
mm,
Meal toy that you've kept for 7 years, or I mean, all of these things the dog can just play with, and get so much enjoyment, excitement. So it's just actually you can have fun with the simplest of things. So loyal, um, and so protective and care. I think there's so many benefits to having a dog, but the biggest one for us is it's an additional family member that costs a lot cheaper to
mm.
feed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And of course, education is slightly different as well.
Yeah, yeah, dead right, dead right. The dog's cleverer.
Are there are there any final comments that you'd like to make? Really, are there
Yeah,
any final kind of inspiring, funny comments you'd like to make before we close up, Lee?
so I'm not sure whether it's a funny comment, but I think dogs. I often see Daisy pounced, like on the windowsill. And before the wife comes home, then she's on the windowsill. It's like she can sense something. She's like, and I don't know whether it's because it's the same time of day, I don't know whether it's a routine, but she can sense something. She's there. As soon as she sees the white car, her tail will start wagging. And I think that in itself is intelligent. But then I think about, and what I try to do is relate that to business as well. And I think we have a lot of metrics in organizations, right? And I think we should encourage more leading metrics rather than um, lagging metrics. Because if you create more metrics where you've got dogs, like the dogs where do you know when something's on its way, or
Mm,
do you know when it's here and the tail's wagging? Because as soon as the post goes through the door, the post is chewed up, and far too many metrics and organisations are like chewed up post. It's after the event and you can't fix it. So the dog has taught me the true meaning of leading and lagging measures, or leading and wagging measures. And I think that for me has been something that Daisy has really taught me.
I've just got to play some of that back because this is gold dust. So I think what you're talking about is leading or
Yeah, yeah,
wagging metrics, and
yeah.
the fact that you try to measure something that's chewed up and spat out is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, but we do that, don't we? We measure things after the event all of the time. 80 or 90% of our measures are after the event. But if you can have a leading measure rather than or a leading or a wagging measure rather than a lagging measure, I think that's fair back, because I think there's three stages of dog measures. One is the leading one, the Daisy will sit on the windowsill. Then there's the wagging measure. She's excited, it's really close. And then there's the lagging measure, which is just the post is destroyed because it's gone through gone through the post box, and there's you can't fix it.
You can't read it. You can't fix it. It's
Dead
just
right. Yeah, dead
okay.
right.
So I'm sorry. I think I misquoted you there. I got the wrong category. But so we've got the leading. So the wagging one is you got the anticipation one, the wagging one, and then you've got the lagging one, which is just carnage and trying to make sense of rubbish.
Correct. Yeah, correct. We normally talk about leading and lagging measures, don't we? I've just added a middle one, the wagging measure. So we've got leading, wagging, and lagging.
Got it. That's there's got to be a book or something on that. Are you writing it?
Yeah. No, that's all for you. I'll let you have that one. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll do my best. It's been a delight to have you here. Thank you so much, Lee, and thank you also, Daisy, for putting in an appearance and being generally marvellous. It's been great to see you, and keep doing the amazing work that you're doing. And I look forward to, when the time is right, the reintroduction of At the Tap End, because we know that the shower doesn't work as a principle because it's just too noisy.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. Honestly, no, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure, Sandra. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.
So that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in. If we've not connected already, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm on there most days. You'll find me under CXEI Sandra. And also, if you want to find out a bit more about my work, then you can pop along to my website, www.eievolution.com. One final thing, and in the spirit of customer experience and feedback, I wonder if you might consider leaving a review on Spotify. I'll leave that one with you. So until the next time, be well and be pawsome. Ta-ra!